Good evening, Paynesville area schools. Welcome to another district town hall meeting. It's a pleasure to have you take some time out of your Monday evening to join us. This evening, we've got a couple of important topics that we want to just put out to be able to share information with our community, with our district residents. The first one is a pretty cool partnership that's developing with school and an organization called Discovery Academy out of St. Cloud Technical and Community College. And we also are partnering with area businesses in order to give students opportunities outside of the school building. We're going to highlight a couple of those programs here this evening. And then at the end, we also have our learning model is going to be changing. And we are going to be bringing kids back in person full time. And so, I'll visit about that a little bit at the end of the meeting as well. As we go through, there's going to be a series of interviews that have been taped. And so at any of the times when there's interviews, if you have questions, by all means, put those in the comments section, and I will try to answer or address as many of those questions as we can. So the first thing we're going to kick off is I had an opportunity last week to sit down and visit with Scott Piesick. Scott Piesick is the HR director out at Cold Spring. And Cold Spring and Paynesville area schools, along with Rocori, Eden Valley, Watkins, and Kimball, have partnered with St. Cloud Tech and Community College and the Discovery Academy in order to begin a manufacturing and engineering program where students actually attend classes on site at Cold Spring 2 mornings each week. So I had the pleasure of visiting with Scott and just kind of give some background as far as what Cold Spring's interest is and kind of where this idea came from and potentially where we can go from there. So let's start with the conversation with Scott Piesick from Cold Spring. Welcome. Today we are joined by a guest, Mr. Scott Piesick. Scott is the Director of Human Resources for Cold Spring. Welcome, Scott. How are you?
Really well, Matt. Thank you very much for the invite. And I appreciate right up front our partnership.
Excellent. So one of the reasons we're having Scott out to visit today is a new cooperative partnership that Paynesville area schools has been exploring, and actually this is the first year into it, is we now have a offering for juniors and seniors in our high school that can take kind of an intro to manufacturing and engineering series of courses. The classes are taught by instructors from St. Cloud Tech and Community College. All of the courses are college level courses, and the interesting part and fascinating part of it is all of the courses are also held out at Cold Spring's facility out between Richmond and Cold Spring. So we invited Scott here to just visit a little bit about the program and have kind of a discussion and hopefully be able to get the word out about the offering and where we can go from here. So first thing, Scott, I guess I'm just curious, from the business sector, private sector, why would a Cold Spring be interested in a partnership like this with the school district?
I tell you, Matt, that the first and foremost, and I think that it probably needs to be talked about more and more from organizations like ours, is that we don't talk about the underlying belief that we need to live in communities that enable people to have a quality of life that draws and keeps people in our communities. At which time, we believe that we need to apply the concepts of Wellbeing 6 beyond the boundaries of our business. If we can create an environment that causes people to want to relocate to or perhaps stay in our communities, we believe we have an obligation to aspire to engage with the schools and then others in the community to pursue those opportunities to improve our communities. And so at Cold Spring, we had a fundamental belief, whether it be personally or professionally, that we try to surround ourselves and intertwine Wellbeing 6 into every aspect of our lives for career well-being, social well-being, financial well-being, community well-being, physical well-being, and even spiritual well-being. We believe if we act within those, not only are we better, the organization's better, and we ultimately have a better community for everybody to live in. So when you ask that question and saying, hey, I think there's a need at multiple levels in our communities that surround us, and it really has to do with the businesses, communities, and the students, and how do we sort of meet those needs. And so what we did was, the idea and the concept came about of saying, hey, our company had a need, for example, for maintenance mechanics, working with the technical college in St. Cloud and up in Alexandria to create the programs that would help meet our needs for the future. And what we couldn't do, there's some barriers in there that to create a program. So the idea was, what happens if we start to offer individual classes that would build towards that program? And with that, we partnered with Paynesville, we've partnered with Ricori, Eden Valley, Watkins, and Kimball to provide, and the technical college, to provide the instructors to come out and give the student a real world life experience, being able to sit in academically in the classroom and then turn around and then go right out into an environment where they're using those skills already. And so it's that part has worked out really, really well.
So in listening to kind of when you talk about those pillars of well-being and stuff, clearly there's a side of Cold Spring that is looking to building the capacity in the future and future employees and meeting future needs. But there's also a larger perspective that is also being pursued by Cold Spring as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's where all those aspects of well-being really tie into our day-to-day life.
So let's talk about program success. How would, in Cold Spring's perspective, how would you define success for this partnership or this program?
Well, I think that first and foremost, part of what we would gauge it as success is say, hey, we've got an engaged school, we've got an engaged student, we've got an engaged parent, and we've got an engaged community, and we've got engaged businesses. And being able to say, how do we continue to get our communities to thrive and continue to build? And so it's having those kind of relationships and partnerships and sharing the same dream and aspirations, to grow everything. And to be able to provide a place where I can live and I can have a good life.
And I think it's interesting in listening to you talk about, when you talk about engagement, and obviously as a school, one of our charges and one of the things that really we go after every single day is developing empowered learners, engaged learners, students that come to school not because mom and dad rolled them out of bed and said, hey, get to school, but that they find something here that engages the unique portion of them that is something that they have a connection to this place. And so it's fascinating, and it's exciting to hear a business partner, a community partner talk about that need for engagement, like schools are right now pushing and trying to reach that engagement piece with students as well. What other opportunities? As this thing, we're in our infancy, so this year, this year was our first year with this partnership, and obviously COVID has impacted that somewhat. It's still impressive to see the partnership move forward, despite or even because of COVID. And so moving forward, where do you see this partnership potentially going, and what potential other opportunities could be ahead of us?
That's a great question, Matt. We're pretty excited about what the future looks like. And this isn't just about Cold Spring excitement, it's about the community's excitement and in each and every one of the areas that we have employees currently. And saying, hey, how come my child, my kid hasn't had the same opportunities? And that was the genesis of being able to reach out to all the different schools in the area, because we had parents/employees wanting more opportunity. And so when you look at that and look at the engagement, like I said, the excitement and traction that's happening in the schools today to drive those numbers that want to attend these courses is pretty exciting. So where do I see it going in the future? I mean, the sky's the limit of whether or not we can replicate another Discovery Academy right here in Paynesville that one of the businesses would host. And maybe it's around childcare. Maybe it's around CNNs. Maybe it's around carpentry. Maybe it's around the sky's the end, of what we could do and where we could set this up and replicate it across all the different communities in our area. And I know it's driven excitement, a lot of questions and curiosity from the area, St. Cloud area, and what are we doing?
Excellent. And I would just echo, I think from the school perspective, as we move forward, this is really kind of our first run at this partnership, and it will be very interesting to see how we can continue to progress and build these partnerships that really allow kids to not only take the academic side of a career and more of the traditional school component, but then also get students out into that actual real world application, whether it be on the job or that career component. I think it just is a tremendous possibility, and I'm excited to be able to try to replicate it in some other industries as well. Any last words, comments, Scott, as far as thoughts about the program or where maybe potentially things are going in the future?
Well, I tell you, Matt, again, it's pretty exciting. I think that we at Cold Spring are really pretty excited. And like I said, ultimately, I'm a big believer that my job is to create messengers that will carry our message or the message, to moms and dads, and just being able to show there's plenty of opportunities for the next generation to work hard, make a really good living, and and ultimately just have a good life.
Excellent.
Across our area.
Excellent. So then just to kind of close here and to bring everything full circle, as I stated earlier, this is our first year at this. Right now we have about 10 students that are, as Scott mentioned, from those 4 school districts, Paynesville, Ricori, Ean Valley, Watkins, and Kimball. Those are the 4 districts that have really partnered in this. There's about 10 students that are enrolled this year. The great news is we have additional capacity. It's interesting when all the partners come together to talk about what year 2 looks like. What we're really hopeful is that, one, we can grow enrollment and get more students interested in it, but then also potentially increase the number of offerings and really turn it into kind of a 2-year program as the program grows. So Paynesville area students, families, be sure you'll hear more about this. And as high school students are sitting down to think about registration, it would be something that I think students should consider. And Scott, I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day and coming out and visiting with us.
Thanks. If you have any other questions, I'll be free to answer anything you got. Shoot me an email, contact Matt, and if nothing else, I've got some summer help for you.
Excellent.
If you're looking for a job.
Excellent. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Scott, for taking some time to come out and be able to visit with us. We also have a student perspective as well. Lucas Good is a high school junior at Paynesville High School, and he was kind enough to sit down with Mr. Orline and talk about his experience and going through the first cohort of this manufacturing engineering program to kind of be the first ones through and talk about his experience and what he's taken from the program up to this point.
Today we're talking about our Discovery Academy that we offer at Paynesville Schools. And Discovery Academy is a collaboration with St. Cloud Community and Technical College. And we currently offer courses in our CNA program and also our manufacturing and engineering pathway. Today we have with us Lucas Good, who's a junior at Paynesville Schools. And Lucas is taking part in the manufacturing and engineering pathway courses that are currently offered at Cold Spring Granite. Students can can take 4 classes throughout the school year and acquire 8 credits from St. Cloud Community and Technical College, and they are the gateway into the manufacturing and engineering pathway. Thanks for joining us, Lucas.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about the classes that you're taking over there right now and some of the things that you have learned this school year.
Well, there are 4 classes in total. The first one is all OSHA stuff.
Okay.
So you'd learn about OSHA, what they're all about, and eventually you'd become OSHA 10 certified, which you'd need for a lot of different jobs. And then there are 2 maintenance process classes.
Okay.
And then the final one I haven't been in yet.
Okay. And so what are some of the things that you have learned in those classes?
I've learned a lot about OSHA.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot about all the different things that they do in industry, all the different types of processes they use to make different things, all sorts of different materials they use for specific creations.
Okay. And so you currently you go to Cold Spring Granite 2 mornings a week, and that's part of our 0-hour courses from 7:30 till approximately 9:15. So what do you think? What is an advantage of taking those classes at a large manufacturing firm?
Well, there's a lot of opportunities. Like they can help you to get a foothold in college and beyond. And then you can also gain the opportunity to work along with them to get extra job experience.
Sure. So you've toured the facility. You've been able to kind of witness what that manufacturing process is, from creating job tickets to safety awareness and things like that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what are your plans after high school?
I plan to go to St. Cloud Technical and Community College for 2 years, and then hopefully transfer to a 4-year college.
Okay. And what would you like to pursue as a career?
I'd like to become a robotics technician.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Lucas. We really appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of the school year.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucas, for taking the time to share your experience. It's greatly appreciated. We're going to shift gears just a little bit and talk now about our CNA program, Certified Nursing Assistant. It works under kind of the same premise. We are partnered with Discovery Academy out of St. Cloud Tech and Community College in order to deliver the CNA programming, that is the college credit side of the coursework. We also have other strategic partners. Obviously, this started as a grant with ACGC and Eden Valley Watkins Schools. They both still participate. But we also have partnered with Centricare in order to provide some space for clinicals for students. And we also have partnered with Hilltop Nursing Home over in Watkins as well. So there's other partners that are involved in this. But let's take a look at Mr. Orline had an opportunity to sit down with the CNA instructor, Shannon Lazarus, and just visit a little bit about the program and how things are going.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about our Discovery Academy, which is a collaboration with St. Cloud Community and Technical College. Earlier we spoke about the classes at Cold Spring Granite. And so today we're going to talk about the CNA class, which is a Certified Nursing Assistant. And this class is offered in Paynesville schools, and we work with St. Cloud Community and Technical College, and we also partner with ACGC and Eden Valley Watkins. So today I have Shannon Lazarus, and she is the lead instructor for the program. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So let's start out with just tell us a little bit about your background and how this came about.
So I've been working in healthcare for about 20 years in various roles. I worked as a nursing assistant, started out there. worked as an LPN, worked as an RN, and then had the opportunity to start working through Ridgewater College with their nursing assistant program. So the first year that we did this, your school partnered with Ridgewater. They weren't able to fulfill that commitment a second year. So then you went to St. Cloud Tech, which has worked great.
Good.
I've taught the class for about 13 years in the college setting. I have done a little bit in other high schools. So I kind of had a feel for it when we started here, but of course it was a whole new program. But
Sure.
I do this ongoing right now through both St. Cloud and Ridgewater.
Okay. And so we were able to convert one of our classrooms. We've added some hospital beds and some things that you need to complete the class.
Yep.
Just tell us a little bit about how the class operates and what students are learning.
So we have a curriculum that's developed by the Minnesota Department of Health that's required for us. We can add additional items to it, but we have to use the base curriculum. So half of it is classwork, lecture, videos, that kind of thing. And then the other half of it is a lab or clinical portion.
Okay.
We normally would do 5-hour nights of clinical in a nursing home. We haven't been able to do that this last year.
Sure.
So we got a waiver to continue teaching this course. So now we do that lab clinical portion in the classroom.
Okay.
So we have those hospital beds set up. There's 11 units. With each unit, there's skills attached to it. And we demonstrate those skills. And then the students practice on each other.
Okay.
In those hospital beds. They put hospital on the beds. They do all of the stuff. And then we also have an anatomically correct mannequin for doing some of the personal care skills that we do. That normally we would practice on that mannequin in classroom, and then they would have the opportunity to do those in a clinical setting. And maybe that will come back at some point, but at least they get the hands-on basics of it with the mannequin.
Definitely. Yeah. Certainly the pandemic has changed a lot of things, and it's really nice that you've been able to adjust and get some waivers and continue this for our kids. So tell us about some of the opportunities that our students would have by completing this course.
So I highly recommend it for anyone going into anything in the medical field. I think it gives you a good base of knowledge of how medical, different people in the medical care team work together. Yeah. I think it's a real crash course in, do I want to go into nursing or do I want to go into healthcare? I think they learn really good communication skills. It's a great high school part-time job.
Great.
Every facility is always hiring because as students go to college, evolve, it's kind of a revolving door.
Sure.
We don't have a huge amount of people that do it lifelong as a career, but there's a few. But the facilities are well used to working with high school students, so they're very accommodating for hours. I think the pay is good. It's a nice, safe environment. It's a great high school job. But then also, almost anywhere that you go to a college, a bigger town where there's a college, there's a nursing home.
Right.
So, or pretty nearby. So you'd have an opportunity to have, again, a part-time job while you're going to school, and then also getting that hands-on experience while especially if you're going into a nursing program or something in healthcare.
Yeah, it's really a unique opportunity for high school students to take this class and have really a lot of hands-on experience and real life situations that you would encounter on the job. And we have numerous college students that are continuing to work at nursing homes in college. And yeah, you're right. It really can be a gateway into the medical field, and those that are interested, we certainly encourage them to participate. We offer this class both semesters each year, and so we look forward to starting up again next year.
Yeah. Another thing I think it's great in the high school is that I used to have high school students at the college, but it's 3 evenings a week, like 4 to 9. It's a block class. That's hard for students that are doing extracurriculars or to be in class until 9 o'clock at night and then try and be doing homework. So having it during the school day, I think, is such a plus for the high school students. Yeah,
no, that's great. It's nice that we've been able to offer it at 7:30 in the morning and until about 9 o'clock, and that gives that gives our students that are, I think, as time goes on, kids are busier all the time, and to be able to have it at a time where maybe there isn't as much going on has really been helpful. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, and we look forward to continuing this partnership.
Great. I'm enjoying it, so keep going.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, for taking the time to visit with us. As you can see, those are a couple of instances as the Paynesville area schools, and particularly our high school, is looking to partner with Discovery Academy in order to really expand what we're offering here and provide kids with an opportunity to get out and not only experience maybe some real world application, but also in the best case scenario, actually attending some courses with some partners in our community as well. By all means, if you have questions, submit them in the comments section. I will certainly try to answer them. Just to kind of put closure on where we're at with not only the Cold Spring partnership, but the CNA partnership. Those are both continue, and Paynesville Schools is committed to that process and educating students in that format. I actually had an opportunity to visit with a community member probably 2 weeks ago. And so I think there's also going to be some traction here gained with potentially moving along with another partnership that might be in the automotive repair industry and stuff. So know that Paynesville Schools is committed to continue to find these partnerships and be able to expand our school building and our actual classroom to businesses and real world application. And I guess I would ask community members and our business partners if you have ideas, if you think that a partnership like something that is working with the CNA program or what we have in our infancy with Cold Spring is something that you think there's possibility in your sector and you have an interest in potentially partnering with the school to help educate young people, by all means, I'm very interested in pursuing those interests and seeing what other partnerships we can develop. So please keep that in mind, and all ideas are certainly welcome. The last thing I just want to touch base on tonight is our learning model. I think most people are now aware that starting on Monday, March 8th, all students attending Paynesville area schools will be returning to full-time in-person learning. So that will mean that all students will be attending school Monday through Friday, starting on the 8th of March. This topic is on the school board agenda for tomorrow night, and I don't anticipate that there will be any issues with it, but that will be the last piece to having schools return to in-person learning. You'll notice that in-person learning is still going to be different than what it was. Obviously, we still will be required to have students wearing face masks or a face shield when they're in the building. That requirement isn't going away. There's still going to be the mitigation strategies. We're still going to be attempting to provide as much social distancing as possible. And obviously the increased routine with cleaning, hand washing, sanitizing, all of those type of activities that have been part of the current school year, those are going to continue as well. It's exciting that students are going to be back full time and back in person, and so I'm hopeful that everything goes well. We would still ask parents and community. You guys have been great up to this point, and continue the line of communication. Let's err on the side of caution. If a student doesn't feel well, let's be careful with that. But it's exciting to have students returning to in-person learning at Paynesville area schools. I don't see any questions at this time. I just want to put a plug in, mark your calendar for the last Monday in March. We will be doing another live stream town hall on that evening. We will provide an update on the building project. This is the first town hall meeting that we haven't done a building project update, but we will certainly include that in our March episode. And then we will also have an update on some new programming at the elementary school. So please mark your calendar for that last Monday in March. We'll be back same time, same location, and hopefully we'll have the same viewers with us. So take care and stay well, Paynesville.